Welcome back to another episode of the Finance Bible podcast. Zeke here.
And your co-host, Oscar. But before we get into it, please note that nothing in this podcast should ever be considered as personal financial advice.
Of course, if that is what you are seeking, reach out, we'll get you in touch with the correct professionals, get the job done properly.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Let's get into it. Well, here we are. We're back on. Welcome back, everybody. Joined here by myself, Mr. Zeke. Don, you're here too.
I am.
Welcome.
Thank you. Mate, let's just, before we get into it, we're in Perth. We went to a great venue last night, just on the coast of Perth.
Excellent venue.
Cottesloe. Anyway, Cottesloe Beach Club. Great place.
Confirm.
Can't recommend it enough. Great drinks, great music, great food, great vibes. 10 out of 10. But the most important thing that happened last night is, Zeke, you fell in love.
Oh.
You have fallen in love.
Fallen hard.
You have fallen hard.
Well,
do you want to explain?
There's not really a whole lot to explain there, actually. It was there was a mutual moment of love.
I can confirm it was mutual. It was very mutual. You and her locked eyes.
Well, you would want to hope so, wouldn't you? But no, nothing crazy, nothing to really discuss. Just a bit of mutual love. Man walks in the bar, man sees lovely girl sees man, and that's all she wrote. But that's an antic that we had to think about. You know, going to that particular beach hotel and buying the drinks and buying the food and that kind of thing, and spending the money on the Uber there because we don't drink and drive. Which, concerningly, there's a couple of people doing.
We did see some at the end, and we actually had to go approach them in the car.
Yes, we said,
say you should not be driving.
There was a particular young lady. I'm gonna air the dirty laundry. A particular young lady walking. I'll say walking, but it was an interesting movement towards a car. Anyway, she turns around and goes, "Wait, that's my car back there."
And we saw her all night on the dance floor going off
in a very high-pitched voice. She was excited. She was like, "Wow, that's my car." And when I hopped in it, turned the music on and went to drive away, Oscar and I being the very responsible young men that we are.
We are very responsible these days.
We said, "Excuse me, lovely lady, should you think about these actions?"
Perhaps
and
book an Uber.
We might have saved a couple of lives there. But, again, spending all that money doing that, we had to think about that. We do something called thinking about our discretionary and non-discretionary expenses.
Mm-hmm.
It's that time of the year again. We did an episode around this time last year on it.
Yeah, it was around this time. That is correct.
How to save up for particular things and how to figure out how to afford things like insurance and that kind of thing that are coming up, annual expenses or monthly expenses. How do you actually put together an appropriate budget?
Let's start from the beginning. January, start of the year, fresh slate. You know that you have Christmas at the end of the year. You might know that your mum's birthday's in April, your friends' birthdays, blah, 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 whatever you have. So plan ahead. If you have something in 4 months that you know you'll need to spend at least $200 if you want to get a nice present or something like that, start contributing around even $25, $30 a week into a savings account for presents or short-term savings, whatever you feel like is the best option, and continue to use that. And by the time it comes the birthday or Christmas or whatever event you have going on, you have the money and you're not stressed out. Because the worst thing is knowing something's coming up and then spending the money because you have to and you haven't planned, and then you're obviously $500 down the drain or whatever it may be. But start from the start, plan ahead. That's a massive one.
One that I always see people come unstuck with is insurance. A lot of people out there will have a home and they'll have building insurance and contents insurance and car insurance and personal insurance and all these different kinds of insurances that are normally annual premiums. So if a couple of them fall simultaneously in terms of car insurance and house insurance and contents, then we might be talking an overall scheme of about 10 grand all in that one moment. So how do you save up for that? Obviously the previous year you paid for it and probably the one before that. But when you get to that point, surely you're taking the time to sit down and go, okay, in 12 months' time, I'm going to have to pay this premium again. It's probably going to be higher because that's the world that we live in.
Mm.
So me personally, my car insurance I think is like what four grand or so. I think it actually dropped quite a bit when I moved back to Newcastle. Oddly enough, dropped like 1.5 grand from Rose Bay to Newcastle. When it was 4.5 grand, it's like $80 a week that I need to put
Mm.
aside to be able to pay for that. And then you throw in other insurances too, which I fortunately don't have to have, like house insurance or contents insurance. But annual expenses like that are hefty.
Yeah. And if you all of a sudden wake up one day and you're given a bill of the amount of money owing, and let's just say you hadn't planned in advance, you're pretty cooked.
Well and
You're
truly.
stressed. You're cooked. If you had plans that weekend to go away with mates or have a big weekend at the clubs or whatever, well, all of a sudden that money that you were going to spend on Long Island's for yourself is just gone, vanished to insurance
And
because you
that's
didn't plan
tough.
ahead.
If
And
you're
that's
missing out
tough.
on Long Islands, that's not good enough.
If that's what you love and you love Long Island, that's your kind of thing. That's a tough thing. For myself, with my expenses, let's just, for example, say my phone bill. I pay my phone bill monthly, I get paid weekly. So, what I do to figure that out, simple, just divide my phone bill by four, and then per week, I pop that amount in my bills account. So, when my phone bill comes out in 4 weeks, I have saved enough money or put enough money aside so it can go straight away and it's there. So, depending on your pay frequency and when your bills come out, like could be a quarterly bill, monthly, weekly, whatever it may be, use that to your advantage, calculate it, and literally put it aside because if it keeps happening, a lot of people put on credit cards if they can't afford it, and then all of a sudden the compounding interest on the credit cards, and you're pretty cooked, and you're in a big ball of debt.
Yeah, quarterly expenses too, like gas, water, electricity, all of that kind of thing, if you pay them quarterly, that is. Rates, even for homeowners, too. These things normally every quarter you might be paying $4,000 as well. So calculating that, dividing it by 12 weeks if you paid weekly, and so on, really important.
I'm going to throw in a quick example. 2023 AFL Grand Final, Collingwood Football Club versus Brisbane Lions MCG. Look, I'm a member of the ground. I was trying my luck, didn't get any. So I had to obviously buy a ticket. I hadn't planned in advance that my team was going to be in the grand final and that I was going to pay hefty money for the ticket. I ended up paying $1,000 for the ticket.
Ooh.
Did I plan to pay $1,000 at the start of the year? No, not at all. I didn't even think we were going to get in the granny.
Well,
Well,
that's just poor
well,
supporting.
no, actually, no, I did. I told you at the prelim last year at Sydney that we'll win the granny
I'm a
next
bit
year.
disappointed that you didn't stick to the guns and go, well, I've got to spend $1,000 on a ticket then.
Yeah, that's pretty piss poor, actually.
But it's a discretionary, non-fixed expense.
That is true. But, I should have put money aside in a short-term saving account, which I do have now, which I just throw extra money at for things like that because they always come up. Your mate might ring you up on a Tuesday night and say, Bieber's in town. Let's go to his concert. I've got a couple of
Two
tickets.
nights in a row.
Yeah, and then you say, how much? He says $600. Oh, good news is I've been putting that much money in my short-term savings. I can go. See, that would be perfect. And that brings up a sour point between you and I
Oh,
with Bieber, um, how he cancelled on us last year. It was last year? Yeah.
so, yeah,
Very upsetting. We
let's
booked
move on
two
before it
nights, two
gets.
nights in a row there. We booked. We're going to sing all our favourite songs with the best singer in the world, but pulled through. Very upsetting.
Yeah, we normally try to bring a bit of an upbeat podcast here, but
I've just
this time,
ruined the mood completely.
yeah, you can actually see the sound waves being recorded. They've gone down quite heavily. Let's bring it back. Let's get the energy back up. We've got discretionary, non-fixed expenses, right? So things you spend money on that you don't have to, you want to. If you didn't, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but you'd probably not be over the moon. You've also got fixed, non discretionary, so things that you absolutely have to commit to. For example, mortgage repayments, land rates, bills, quarterly, gas, electricity, all of those kind of things. So, for that kind of thing, as Oscar said, have a bank account that you put the money in to actually cover that in advance so that when it does come out, you're not kicking yourself in the foot. And then with the other ones, whether you've got regular savings and that kind of thing for discretionary non-fixed, then that's probably the way to go about it. Again, not telling you what to do, but this is just a recommendation. Actually think ahead, figure out what you need to spend money on, and it will make your life so much easier.
Well, that kind of covers the majority of the points.
Catch you all next time.
Catch you then.
We hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, you know exactly what to do.
Hit that follow button, subscribe, whatever platform you listen to this podcast on. Also share it to friends, families, co-workers, whoever you think may benefit from it.